Hello and welcome to Enchanted Life. My name is Nino, and today I wanted to talk about surrender. In this world where we hear so much about manifesting our desires, about this concept of letting go, of they don't use the word surrender, they use it like letting go, dropping the desire, things like that, right? But I want to take on this in less of a manifestation, a law of attraction, law of assumption standpoint, and really talk about surrender in the context of, yes, giving our desires, like letting go the heaviness of our desires and of thinking that we need to do it all on our own. So, surrender, what is it and how do we do it? I started saying this already. Oh, this is my cat, Cleo. Say hello, baby. Surrender is really about, I like the way that Father Mike Schmidt says it. Surrender is about letting God into the places that we can really kind of have a really big and tight grip on. We're giving to God that which is troubling us, that which we desire. It's not just about giving up our sufferings. It is also about giving up our deep desires, those desires that we think we have to work so hard for, and anything that keeps us worried. And just like anyone else in the world, I think that we are in such times where it is easy to worry about life, about what's going to happen next, and also to think that we have to earn every good thing in life, because that's what we've been taught in this world, right? We've been taught that we have to perform and struggle and strive in order to get ahead. And that's really not the full truth, right? We are inherently provided for by a loving God, and we are also inherently taken care of. We are protected by this loving God. And this God of ours doesn't want us to worry all the time or be in anxiety. So surrendering everything to God is really about letting go of the need or the thought that we have to take care of it all on our own, because we can't. We literally don't have the capability to take care of everything in a good way that also turns out for the highest good of everyone involved, right? This is where we can sometimes in our mind think that we have accounted for everyone's needs, that we think we have accounted for the best situation ever, but we are blind. There's so much that we cannot see. And this is where surrender comes in. We give it to God, who knows everything, who has eyes on everything and knows the outcome that is best for everyone. And sometimes we don't know truly the best outcome for ourselves. We think we know what we want. We think we know how it should play out, the best case scenario for everyone, but we don't know what would be involved to make that happen. And to get back to really from this more Christic lens of surrender and less of a law of assumption, law of attraction, manifestation surrender, I really want to talk about how we can use all of that language, right? None of it is necessarily false, but it does put the control in the wrong hands. We have our part to play. We have, of course, our part to play as far as what we believe to be true, who we believe to be in control, in power, and we can kind of succumb to this false idea that we have to control it all ourselves. And I know that this works for some people, but it's not necessarily the healthiest way to live in this life. There is a greater being, and this being, in my belief, is God, who has this divine intelligence that is beyond what my limited mind can receive or can even fathom. So, to surrender is to give everything to God and to therefore allow God access to work where we need him to work. And this does not guarantee that we have everything that we desire come true, but it does soften our hearts and our minds and our thought forms in a way that we are given peace about the things that we have surrendered, whether it is our health, our well-being, our jobs, our finances, our relationships, anything at all. We can give our homes, our careers, our pets over to God. We can give God our worries, our concerns, our sorrows, our fears, our pains, our doubts. Like, you can give God anything and everything, and I hope that you do. So now, how do you actually surrender? This is a part I think that we all get hung up on. What does it mean to give it all to God? What does it mean to surrender? How do I do it? And so today, there's many ways that you can do it. Really, what I practice is prayer. I pray about the things that are on my heart, and at the end of the day, it can be as easy as, God, may your will be done, not mine. God, may you take care of it. Jesus, you take care of it. It can be that simple. But one thing that I have found to be helpful, as far as when you're starting out, to give yourself a little bit of structure, or if you are particularly struggling with something, there is a beautiful prayer. It is called the Surrender Novena. It is by Father Dolindo Rotolo, and he is an Neapolitan priest that died in 1970. But he gives us a Surrender Novena, and what that means is it is a 9-day prayer. It's a prayer that you pray 9 days in a row. If you miss one of the days, you basically just start over and you start your 9 days again. And you can also just continue after the 9 days. You start back at the beginning, and you can do it for as many times as you need to and as you would like. I think it's a beautiful prayer practice, and it is a beautiful way for you to get started with your surrender practice. To have something that has already been laid out for you until you find your own words. What I like to do is pray the daily prayer, and then from there, even though the structure of this prayer is over, I will at that point start to pour my heart out to God. I start to tell God all of my worries, my concerns, my desires, my fears, the things I'm afraid to tell anyone else. I will at that time and throughout the 9 days start to reveal them to God. Not because God doesn't already know them, but because there is something powerful that happens when we speak our prayers out loud. When we speak them out loud, we are really giving God room to start work. We are essentially giving him permission to work in our lives in a way that he hasn't worked in our lives before. And this is going back to Jesus saying, like, if you don't believe, I cannot do the miracles. It's not because he is incapable, but because God has given us so much freedom in our will that he will not go against our will, and he waits for us to hand it over to him. And so this is what the surrender practice allows. It allows us to surrender to God, to give to God, to work on our behalf. And again, sometimes God will not give us exactly what we desire, what we think we want, but rather will help us through the things that cannot be changed. It's almost like the serenity prayer, right? Where it's like, give me, I don't know the exact words, but it's essentially like, give me the peace to know what I can and cannot control. And throughout the surrender practice, as you go on, it is really starting to loosen the chains that we have tortured ourselves with. It's loosening the chains that we have tied ourselves up in and that we are tripping over, but these are chains that we have put upon ourselves because we have gotten so tangled up in worry and thoughts and just not allowing God to work through us. Part of surrender allows God not only to work for us, but is to work through us and in us, so that way we can be reminded of our childhood in Him, of the sacred childness that we are in God through Christ, right? We are each sons and daughters of God, and when we start to give God permission to do His work for us and in us and through us, we are reminded that we are His children and He takes care of us better than we can take care of ourselves. And like that parent who may not, like you might tell your parent, I want candy, and your parent might say, no more. You've had enough candy. No more candy for you. Candy's gonna rot your teeth and we're done with the candy. Like, no more candy. The parent isn't mad at you for asking for the candy, but the parent will not necessarily give you your desire because they know what is actually best for you as their child. And this is really like a very simple way of showing and demonstrating what God is doing for us with our own desires. But our desires always lead us to God. And so when we surrender our desires and everything else to God, it is bringing us closer into relationship with God and with all that God actually has in store for us that might be something that we would have never thought to do. Why? Because we're so tangled up in our worries and in our fears and in our doubts and in what the world has to say about any given topic. And so I am going to start posting days 1 through 9 of the Surrender Novena by Father Dolindo, so that way you can follow along each day and you can go back to it. Please put your comments in the comment section of those videos and start tracking that you did day 1, day 2, day 3, etc. And also what is coming up for you, if you feel so inclined to share what is coming up for you, what you are starting to surrender to God in this 9-day practice. And if you don't want to share that much detail, totally okay. Please consider your own privacy, because YouTube, anybody can read your comments, right? But if you want to share anything, feel free to follow me on Instagram. I use the same name as this channel, Enchanted Life. So you can follow me at Enchanted Life on Instagram and send me a private DM if you want to talk about what's coming up for you, or just put in the comments of the videos and let me know how the novena is going for you. If you have to start over, please do so. Don't feel bad for missing a day. Just pick back up where you left off and start the novena from day 1, or you can start it from the last day that you did. Finish through the 9 days and restart it, so that way you get the full 9 days or more. Let's see. And if you want more videos like this, please, obviously like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the things that helps these videos come out and other people see it. And until then, be well. I will see you soon. Bye.